on screen. Hi, guys. I'm Haunted. Welcome to Play Weird today on this lovely rainy Tuesday. We're going to be continuing our work on the Bellhop Porter, this little duder here. We started him last week. We did we already had his gray and white workup done. But what we did is we came in and we did some pin lining or pin washing using a product called Multi Black from Mr. Hobby. Looking good so far. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks so much. Appreciate that verification. That's always a good thing. So we did some pin washing. My camera's a little off, I think, but hopefully we can deal with it. We did some pin washing on him. Then we did a little bit of buildup on the black for his legs or for his pants, slacks, whatever. And then we did a red buildup on his little vest here. And yeah, so we're going to pick up today with got the pixelation thing going on. We're going to pick up today doing some piping on the vest as well as some edging on the whites and building up the pants some more. So just need to grab my eyeballs real quick. I don't know where my other ones are in the other room. Nice. Okay, so we'll just use these. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a little brown on his chapeau, I think it is, the hat, French for hat. I could be wrong. Been many a year since I was fluent in French, right? Those things, you don't use it, you lose it. Same with Japanese. I still retain a little bit of my Japanese. I took 5 years of it. But because I only use it in the sushi bar, I speak what's known as sushi bar Japanese. So I can greet them and I can order and I can thank them, ask for various things about the food. But that's as far as it goes. Like I could not carry on a conversation in the real world. So got a hair here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. There we go. One of the pitfalls of having cats is hairs on your project. I'm going to have to figure out some sort of way when I start working with my oils again to keep kitty hairs from flying around, because, those take days and days to dry. You wish you could order sushi in Japanese. I mean, honestly, it's just a few few sentences you only need to know. It's not that big a deal. You can pretty much Google it. The hardest part for me was retraining myself because I learned out of college here, well, high school and college, same teacher. And she was as Southern can be. So I learned Southern Japanese. And my pronunciations were horrible when I first met somebody that could speak Japanese, and I tried speaking to them, where they were just like, no, wrong, horrible. So I basically had to reteach myself my pronunciations. So yeah, good old Mrs. White. Like, domo arigato, y'all. That was basically how she said it. It was not good. Okay. So what I mixed was a little bit of rhinoxide and some English uniform as my first color here. And this is mostly going to be going in the recess on this piping. That is how I was speaking. Yep. It's a hard habit to break. Southern accent is strong. I'm kind of a parrot. At least I used to be when I was younger. I could go anywhere, spend a couple days there, and in that time, I began speaking like a native. Like, I'd pick up on the accent, the inflections, the colloquialisms, and it was really cool. Especially when I went to the French Quarter in Canada, and I spoke French from school, but I was speaking like a native because I was hanging around people that spoke it every day. But I don't know if that ability still works or not. I've spent so much time here. I'm afraid this may have like frozen and I'm stuck in Southern mode. I knew I was in trouble when I was I guess I was 18, 19 years old. I'd been living here 3 years at that point. And I told my mom I had a hankering for some eggs, and I knew at that point I was lost. I think our camera has nope. There's just a little bit of a delay. Hey, thank you for that follow. Hey, McBluff, how are you doing? Car stands? Is that it? Thank you for that follow. Welcome to Weird. We're all weird down here. Sorry if that brought back any flashbacks for anybody. I just happened to watch it the other night. So we all float down here. We're all weird here. It works. I like it. Yeti School. That was the one. Okay. Well, thank you for that follow. I was reading the old one, I guess. It is going pretty good, McLuff. We had some crazy weather earlier today, complete with tornado touchdowns and power outages and traffic lights going out and people running around screaming and yanking things off the grocery store shelves like, the apocalypse was coming. It was fantastic. So, Okay, let's get this piping on the back. This color, like I said, we're not doing anything but trying to get there's two lines on the piping, so we're basically just shooting for that middle line, kind of rolling up over either side, but mainly looking for the recess because this is our darkest color, right? I did not notice that little bit of red there. We will have to correct that. Yeah, it's just the way it goes, you know. We had that tail end of that hurricane um, come through, or is coming through, and it has spawned off some crazy weather. We had probably 3 inches of rain in the span of an hour or two yesterday. It was an insane amount of rain. I'm going to do something real quick before we get too far into it. It is a very dusty miniature, so we're going to brush it off real quick. Okay, I think that got most of the little dust bunnies off. Okay, let's see about getting rid of that that spot of red real quick if we can before I move on, because that's going to bother me. It's probably going to be mostly covered or so far in shadow because of the suitcases. No one's really going to see it, but I know it's there, so that bothers me. Very least is toned down now. And since I know it's there, you guys know it's there now, right? If I kept my mouth shut, no one would have noticed it, I bet. But that's not who I am. So, all right, now that we got that done, let's go ahead and move into our next color, which is English uniform. And we're just going to try. Oops, I kind of missed these bits on the shoulder. I need to go back and get those. We're going to try and keep it just to the upper ridges, right? And to do that, we're just going to use the side of our brush. Don't use the tips if you can help it. Use the side, like at a 45 or flatter angle if you can. Kind of lose a little definition here on the stripes right there. Oops, that furniture is getting in the way. We have to change our angle. Nice looking bases. What's going on those? Hey, Salty Sea Bass, how are you doing? Those are going to go on a client's Von Stuck crew. You know, because they got the is it Von Stuck? The academic, the one that's in the sewers. I think that's it. So they're sewer themed bases that I well, they're a mix. This is a weird base. This is a weird base. I think this one is as well. That one and That one, I think those are the weird bases. And the other ones are 3D printed. Yeah. The cool one, guys. I got to show you this one. This is another weird one. This is the 50 millimeter base. This guy is a beast. It doesn't look all that major, but it's in like 35 pieces, 40 pieces. I think it's the most complex base I've ever built, other than like a diorama. But it's a very cool base. Definitely worth a look if you haven't picked one up. But it's not it comes unassembled. In keeping in weird tradition, it's a bugger. It is a little mini diorama. It really is. Did I forget? I did. Let's go back and finish that real quick. I got sidetracked. Yeah. So yeah, I do love those bases. They're really sweet. Boy, I tell you what, I see all sorts of things I miss when I put on these big eyeballs. There's a speckle down there I'll have to fix. That was from bad airbrushing. Not enough water or a dirty needle tip, one of the two. So in the future, when you do any airbrushing, make sure you keep the tip clean, and make sure you're good and thin when you're working with white. Well, speaking of thin, that was a bit thin and ran right into my crevice, right into the crevasse. So we'll have to come back and reinforce the shadows a little bit. Hey, thanks for that follow, Metal. To fix that, we'll just wick a little bit of the moisture out on a paper towel and pull up on the tip a little bit rather than doing it flat, which allows more the paint to flow. We'll do it more on tip. So today is all about detail work. So I hope you guys don't mind me being like hyper focused. Or not necessarily detail work, but definitely close up work. So you won't see my pretty eyes much today. Hello, Cat. Yes, you heard Captain Sneezy Pants, huh? Hey, good stuff there. And I really like how the red is highlighted. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And then NMM looks sweet too. Appreciate it. Thank you. Never had the patience to use this technique on larger surfaces. Well, in my defense, I use an airbrush. Okay, because of the larger surfaces. When I'm doing a smaller miniature, like Kia, doing the NMM on her with a brush, that's okay. But when you got a nice large surface, I tend to break out the airbrush. And I did just very lightly, broadly drop in the highlights. And then we came in and we pin washed it with this Mr. Hobby Multi Black. After we put a gloss coat on here, I don't know if you can still see the sheen. But Multi Black flows really well over a gloss coat. And because it's an enamel, it doesn't react with acrylic. So you can literally just wipe it off right with a thinner, and you're not going to hurt your paint job. You don't really need the gloss coat, but it helps if you have it. I did not do the large NMM on stream. I did it prior to the stream because I didn't think anybody wanted to watch me spray gray in different shades on a miniature. So my first stream was doing the vest, the pants, and the pin washing. But it is something I could show if people wanted to, but I'll probably pick a more interesting color to do, maybe gold or copper or something like that. Neat paint. Yeah. Like I said, very broad strokes on this. And once I get the edge highlighting in here on all these surfaces, it's going to pop at that point, I think. We're not going too crazy with it. We're not going to go with horizon lines or anything like that. But that is something you can do to increase the realism on your non-metallic metal. You really have to punch up that contrast on it, though. Not be afraid of sharp lines. I'm very afraid of sharp lines, and that's one of the things when you're doing horizon line non-metallic metal, you can't be afraid of it because you have to have those harsh, lines where the horizon cuts in. And you also, of course, have to define the horizon, what it is. Is it, green forest, meadows, city, whatever. And of course, you have to adjust your horizon line accordingly. So if you're like in a meadow with some trees on the edge of it, your horizon line is kind of look like a pair of fangs with a curve in between them. Okay. Because here's your trees on the side. Here's your grassy meadow. But because of the distortion and the curvature, everything's, bent and twisted. So you've got a curve for flat earth, and your trees kind of will go out on the sides like a V. So yeah, it's not something I really wanted to do on this one. You'd love to see NMM on stream. It's one technique I would really like to get my head wrapped around better. It's something I'm just learning. I mean, I have only recently started doing NMM. Sorry. I don't have my first NMM model handy. This one's relatively recent. Hang on one second. Pardon me for the dust. This one's relatively recent. One of the earlier ones. This is my Brutal Fate, and he's got non-metallic gold on the sword, and of course the non-metallic on the blade itself. And this was done with brush. God, he is super duper dusty. But anyways, that's one I did, and I did do this on my stream, but not here. But I could do something like that here, not be a problem. I've got more fates to work on, so I'm sure we got that to do with. But yeah, same basic recipe I'm using on our Bellhop Porter. I may not pull it quite as bright, nor have it as smooth because we're in such a small space. But yeah, get him on the table to shake off that dust, no doubt. My guild is kind of on the back burner. I have decided that in order to really learn the game and to stop being so slow and indecisive, because there's a tournament coming up this weekend, and there's literally no way I could compete because we wouldn't even finish round 3 because I'm so slow. But I have decided to just concentrate, focus fire on one master for at least 10 games. And that master I chose is Riva. So because she wasn't really my first, but she was I liked her being on a horse because I have horses, so I was naturally drawn to her. Even though Neverborn was my first love, Riva stole the show. So yeah, I've got to get some games in with her before I start talking about playing any other characters. Jeez, the hair's everywhere. Does not help I've got my fan on, which is probably stirring things up. I just want to make sure that was not like stuck in the enamel or something. I'm anxious to try her title form, but I don't know if I should wait on that until I've got 10 games of regular Riva, and I'm sure I should because the interactions are going to be different. But it's funny because I was speculating with a friend about what the title version of Riva would be, and I was like, well, I'm thinking what they need to do is they need to remove the horse, sacrifice a little speed, but like give her the ability to cast pyro markers out in a higher, in a bigger range and easier. So she's just like she's gone fire starter, Riva kind of mentality. And while it's not exactly the case, she can pull in land pads now, which is pretty nice. So that's kind of like Firestarter in a way. That was what I was hoping for. But it was funny that I did see that they had, the horse was gone with the title. I was like, well, I was partially right. Hello, Kat. How are you doing? What was your day like? Was it scary being in the dark? And I am excited tomorrow. I should have my favorite brushes back in stock. I found some broken toads in stock, so I can get back to my old brushes rather than these Tide Me Over brushes. I'm excited. Yes, Kat, I hear you. So does everybody else. That just does not stop him talking. He just keeps right on, as is typical of cats, right? Okay. So he's got double piping. I thought it was just a single pipe, but it's double piping here. I'm hoping I'm on screen. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're going to hit that with the brown. Going to do a little Rhinox real quick here to kind of separate this a little bit. It is just kind of blends in a little bit too much with the red. And give it a little bit of standout there. And then on this side of it here. And a little bit right there as well. Okay, sorry about that. Got some more piping coming in here on this side. Kind of trying to figure out what color that scarf or whatever that is around his face should be. Anybody have any suggestions on that? I am open to them for sure. So just let me know if you have any ideas, thoughts, or whatever on that. Okay, and what we're doing is just cutting in that piping again, like we did on the rest of it, because I forgot he has it on the shoulders here as well. Using a little bit of Rhinox hide here to make the separation in the piping more intense. And again, it's also to kind of hide some of that white from the NMM workup, because we don't want that in the recesses. So, but stark black would look a little too much, so we're just gonna do that Rhinox in there, and it'd be fine. The art has it as a dark color, but I think a nice purple would pop. Purple could work, especially with that yellow up against it from the piping. Yeah, that could work very, very well. Yellow and purple are complements. Okay. Did we get the backside? Yeah, I think we did. Not quite on that one, though. What paint hack did you miss? Hey there, dwarf. How are you doing? I don't. Did we talk about paint hacks? I guess we talked a little bit about my non-metallic metal workup, and we talk about how when edging to use the side of your brush against the edges rather than the point of the brush against the edges wherever possible. And that's really kind of about it. I don't think we really got into a whole lot of techniques or hacks. Okay. We are looking for my other yellow. Where are you at? There we are. Wolf Concepts, how are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. We're going to switch over here to Japanese uniform. So a little bit more on the khaki / taupe, I guess, side. Oh yes, enamels on acrylics. Yeah, that's what we're talking about with the pin washing here. We use Mr. Color or Mr. Hobby multi-black. I think he's sometimes referred to as Mr. Color, depending on the website. But anyways, use Mr. Hobby multi-black over basically a zenithal primed. It isn't primed as paint, but basically a zenithal style coating. And after putting on a gloss wash, just let it kind of roll around in the lines in the recesses. And yeah. Congrats on what, sir? Okay, so let's get this color going here. Oh, this is it's not my channel. It's Weird's channel. I am streaming for them though. But yeah, I'm really happy to see them really taking on the social media hardcore like they are now. So, and to be a part of that makes me super happy. You hate NMM, but trying it on a current hobby project. Very cool. Very cool. It is it's one of those things that's kind of hard to master, but it really does look good, especially to me, I think, on Malifaux miniatures. I think it's probably due to their scale that metallics just kind of don't look great. I mean, you can get away with it, don't get me wrong, but they don't look as good as a non-metallic metal does. And which, like, I can show you just, okay, this is an extreme case, okay, but these are 10 millimeter scale and they're done with regular metallics, and you can see like the flecks of the metal in the painted areas where the metals are painted, right? You can see the little flakes of mica or whatever it is in the paint because the scale is so small. And the same thing applies, even though this is an extreme example, the scale applies to Weird because it's true scale, so therefore it's much smaller and finer detailed. So you start seeing those hunks of mica floating around in the paint, and it looks fake. It doesn't look right like it belongs. And that's why I said I think for Malifaux miniatures, non-metallic metal is the only way to go. Trying non-metallic metal to not be too over the top. Yeah, that makes sense. You love the popping green bases? Thank you. They're sewer bases. Part of them are from Weird as well. But they were for Von Stuck's crew, who basically lives in the sewers. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Wolf. I appreciate it. So let's see here. We got a little bit of that Japanese uniform pulled in there. You see how the piping starting to pop a little bit more now. We'll get a little bit here on this where it's kind of stretched out over his belly. Actually, we'll probably just kind of cover this whole area. You never dealt with NMM? Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that, everybody says it's an advanced technique. And this is something I'm going to steal from a friend of mine, Teal Secure. Is the one thing he will rant on. Is there is no such thing as an advanced technique. There's only techniques. You can learn non-metallic metal as your first metal technique. Now, there's no advanced techniques, but there's advanced applications of, or basically as you get better, it becomes more advanced. But there's no real advanced techniques. You can start learning wet blending and glazing as soon as you want to, especially with the advent of the internet. The internet is a big thing now. It's everywhere. And there's no reason to not take advantage of the lessons that are there. So there's no real such thing as an advanced technique now. I don't think. That hair it is back again. There. Now we got it going. Okay. Maybe your first and last. No, don't do that now. You got to keep working with it. Get better at it. Watch some YouTube videos of other people doing it. Try their techniques. And as you learn their techniques, you'll start developing some of your own ideas on how it should be done. Never give up. Never surrender. Sorry. Galaxy Quest. It had a great life lesson in it. But yeah, just keep at it. It's definitely, if you paint Malifaux for sure, you want to, it's a technique you want to learn. I'm not sure if I'd want to do the Hoffman army in it. Oh Lord, that would be rough. I had to come back and cut in that middle just a little bit. But 1 or 2 models here and there, yeah, not a problem. You've only used Citadel color, so dull down their metallics with shades. Now, yeah, I've done that before, but you still see that metallic flake in there, that metal flake, and that's what I'm saying with pardon me, hang on one sec. Man, allergies are something fierce. That's something that it doesn't carry over so well at this scale. Like I said, it doesn't look bad on larger heroic scale miniatures, but on true scale, it's just, I don't know, it comes across as really fake to me. But yeah, don't let a technique scare you from trying it just because somebody has coined the phrase advanced technique, okay? It's painting gatekeeping, okay? That's what that is. There's no reason you can't learn to glaze as one of your first techniques, or why you can't do non-metallic metal as your first technique. It helps if you have previous experience with doing glazes and blending and stuff like that, but it's not required. You can learn those as you learn the other. So just don't be afraid to try it out, right? Let's see here. I am liking how they're turning out your project. Python's Holy Grail also decided to not use water washes or shades either. Very cool. I have gotten away from washes for the most part myself. I start with a much darker base coat and just work up to the colors I want, and that gives me the effect of having a wash. It just, it takes more steps. It's not as, technical, not like slapping on some liquid talent, as they call it. Like, for instance, this red was built up from black red. No shading was involved. It's just I went from this to, where's she at? I can't find the other red. It was Mephiston, and then sorry. Evil Sons. I went up to Evil Sons. So basically, that's what I went from this. If you can see that almost black red to this. No shade was involved. I think I did put a tiny little line around the edge with the multi black, but for the most part, it was not shaded. All right, that sounds good. Well, punk zombie swords don't look bad. All right, cool. There are always going to be punk zombies to me. I know they're rabble risers now, but they're punk zombies to me, especially since I have two sets of punk zombies, as well as the rabble risers in the Nightmare Molly crew. And I'm going to be buying the 3E Molly crew just because I need to fill up in the nanny. That's not pirate themed. And which means I'm going to have a fourth set of punk zombies or rabble risers. So if anybody needs to buy any rabble risers, please let me know. I will help them out. Let's see here. I'm not too fond of the phrase "known oil hides all sins." I've not actually heard that phrase before. I mean, I've heard liquid talent, which I just used a little while ago, but I've not heard the hides all sin one. That's a new one to me. You like washes or if you washes like dry brushing, I think it works really well and highly. Yeah, that's true, Seabass. Yeah, I mean everything has a place. Dry brushing has a place. So yeah, never forget those techniques you first started out with. You will find them useful at some point again. So yeah, I agree with that 100%, Seabass. Let's see here. Generally, feather layer, then smooth. Um, yeah, dwarf. That's honestly most of the time what I do, especially on the smaller miniatures. Like, for instance, there's no real blending done on Finnegan here. Okay, it's all just layering. The There's a little bit of glazing on the flesh, but most of it is just layers. So consecutively smaller, thinner stripes of consecutively brighter colors. That's the way I do most of the quote blends on my or highlights on my miniatures. So yeah, there's nothing wrong at all with that particular technique. Just heard it this year, mainly in the 40K community. Oh, okay. Door punk zombies. They're kind of like a throwback to 80s. Weird does a lot of pop culture in their miniatures. They'll have miniatures that look like some icon or whatnot from society. And punk zombies were one of those things. They were a throwback to punk era. So all the zombies have like mohawks and stuff like that. So yeah, so they're punk zombies, but now they're called rabble risers. But basically, just emaciated looking zombies with mohawks and various weapons. Yeah, that's them. Yeah, Return of the Living Dead vibe. Exactly. No glass sticking out of their faces or anything like that. But yeah, otherwise the same. Get that little bit there on the shoulder. I'm going to come around to the same over here, even though that's mostly going to be covered up by suitcases. Look up Artist Opus on YouTube for yes, Dwarf. I have seen those videos and they are bloody amazing. The first one I saw was the dungeon wall one. That was kind of the purple and green, neon green dungeon wall. It was crazy. I loved that. So yeah, I know very well what you're talking about. We're going to come in and hit the tops of these buttons a little bit here with this Japanese uniform. If I can get my brush to do it, we're going to have to turn off the fan here in a moment, I'm afraid. It's drying things out way too much here. We may have to look P Zombies up. Love 80s, even though born in 86. Yeah. Well, the punk era was actually started well before the 80s. It was actually a late 70s thing. The kind of a transitionary period between disco and 80s. You had the rebellious punks. Look up if you want to know like the Pentacle, like where it started all kind of thing. Look up Sid and Nancy. That will get you right in the zone. How are we doing? We're at 422. We're not doing too bad. It's been a little longer on here than I want it to. But it is detail work, so it does take time. All right. Well, Wolf, I can't really take a look at it because, this is Weird's time. So I will look at it after streaming here. And we'll talk about them, okay? Now, we can't do our edge highlighting here our typical way because of the way those lines lay. So we have to use the tip of the brush. Just got to be a little more careful. Okay, cool. All right, got that piping started there. Base coat in. Now we'll work on the other side. We'll get up there some. Get some up there too. Or hook me on Twitter. Okay. Is he on the Discord? Okay. A little too much water in that. Let's get some more English uniform back out. Okay. And basically, we're just tracing these little raised lines. Is essentially all we're doing. So I found a new guilty pleasure last night, or well, I guess the other day, not last night, but I started watching My Hero Academia. And I have been enjoying the crap out of it. I'm already in toward the end of second season, I think. It was a pretty good show. All of the character designs. And how, although the one thing that bothers me with it is that they talk about like 80% of the world's population developed superpowers. And if 80% of the world population developed superpowers, why are there heroes needed? Everybody can take care of themselves for the most part. I know, Dwarf. I think Wolf was talking about my Discord. He watches my stream, and I have a Discord for that. But this is weird stream. I'm just a painting monkey today. Okay, more English uniform. Gonna get that other line. There is another hair. God almighty. Why are there so many hairs stuck on this thing? I got to get a pair of tweezers. My other tweezers are actually in my 3D printing room, covered in resin, so I can't use those in here anymore. Which is a bummer when I need them really bad today. Well, yeah, I guess you could have a shoddy power, like you start glowing in polka dots or something like that. But it also seems like, yeah, there would probably be a whole lot more villainy than there currently is too, because by and large, people are rotten to the core in general. Okay, I think that's about as good as I can get with those lines the way they are. Polka dot. I only saw a little bit of it, enough to know it was an alien virus that his mom had exposed him to or something. But yeah, I didn't quite finish up Suicide Squad. But yeah, like I said, I'm starting to get into the Hero Academia, and I really like it. Better late than never, I guess. Nice thing about being late to it is I can catch up and just just binge like crazy, because this, I think there are already 5 seasons or something, so I can watch a lot of it without having to wait for the next season to come out, which is nice. Interdimensional virus, that's it. Thank you. What was funny was I had no idea that Sylvester Stallone was in that until I actually was like watching the credits, and I was like, wait, he was the shark? Nor Nathan Fillion. I didn't know he was in it until the credits, and I had to go back and see who TDK was. Oh, he was that guy that had the detachable arms that died in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Cool. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Best bit in Lego Batman listing DE and F tier supervillains. I don't remember seeing that. I don't think I actually saw that movie. That could be why. I think I saw the Lego movie where the guy that was super duper uncreative that became the chosen one or the one or whatever. He had the crazy glue cap on his back. But yeah, I don't think I saw any of the other ones. Oh, it was like all of them. Wow. I don't know. I always thought Lex Luthor would have probably been an A tier, even though he didn't have any technically didn't have any superpowers. Geez, I'll get that word out eventually. His intelligence and motivation, of course, being rich on Batman level, helped with his goals. So I always thought he was a pretty high end villain. Though I didn't read a whole lot of DC, I'll be honest. I was more a Marvel person. Suicide Squad it doesn't pick up where the other one left off really, but it's not a reboot either. Flag, the director, I can't think of her name. She's a heifer. And Harley were the only ones that came back from the original, and that was part of the contract for getting it going, was that it had to be just those, mainly Harley. That was it. Okay, so now we're going to mix a little bit of ice yellow with our our Japanese uniform. probably about 2 drops English, or sorry, I keep saying English. It's Japanese. 2 drops Japanese to 1 drop of the ice yellow. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. Very briefly, but yes, you're right. Mm. If you did not like Empress as much as I didn't like Empress, then yes, it's better than the original. Or whatever her name was. The one that the big baddie at the end of the first one. I can't remember her name. I think it was Empress. Could be wrong. She's just like, and apologies if anybody likes that actress, but everything she's in, I just feel like it's just horrible. Like Valerian, the City of a Thousand Planets, she just wrecked that movie. I mean, the male lead wasn't much better either. He was pretty horrible, but that movie had the potential to be so good. And those two with their deadpan acting, just ugh. The Rock Mark II. I don't know. He had some good lines. And you see, we're going to kind of hit the corners here on these things and brighten it up a bit. I may be getting too opinionated, so I'm gonna tone it down here a little bit. Let's talk about something else. Movies aren't a big taboo. Okay, well, good. Well, I have to realize, this isn't my stream. This is your stream, and I feel like I have to meter myself a little bit sometimes because we're representatives, right? Smaller bullets joke was great. I think I missed that for sure. Hey, Kyle, you heard Empress? Empress is still number one bay. Yeah, no, I was talking about the one in the original Suicide Squad. I think that was her name. I could be wrong, but yeah, I can see how you might jump to that conclusion that it was Vagrant Song. Which, quick plug, you guys need to get that game as soon as it comes out. I can't wait myself. It and Bayou Bash. I've played about 5 games of Bayou Bash. I love it. Enchantress. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I was on Empress for some reason. Yes, Enchantress. That was it. Okay. All right. So we're just about done with the piping here in the front. We just got a few more little spots here we're going to hit. Well, I say that we still got to do like our final highlight. but we're very close here on the front. Because she is best vagrant. Well, yeah. Well, I can't say she's best. I only played her, but I only played her because I thought she was best. I felt like she lost a little bit of her oomph when we had games with the Runaway, because the Runaway just kind of stole the show in those games. Like her main focus was now gone because she kind of did a little bit of tanky, hitty, smacky, and she did a little bit of running around scheming, and Runaway did the scheming so well that it just took half of her job away. But still my favorite character. Noticed a new TikTok account. Thank you for liking my videos. Oh, very cool. That's one I've not gotten into yet. I don't know. I don't know if I can get to that one. Instagram was hard enough for me to grasp onto. And I'm still working on building it and Facebook up. But TikTok, I don't know if I should. And I gave up on Twitter. That one just nope, can't do it. Oh, forget about the joke long enough. If I stick with it long enough. Okay, I gotcha. Here we go. Okay. This is going to be the plain Japanese uniform coming back in, just adding a little bit more highlight up here because we kind of lost most of it. Same over here. Definitely a little bit out of focus there. I was hoping you could see what we were doing here, but it just not quite there focus wise. After 18 months, I struggled to recall anything yesterday. I didn't know that feeling. You know what I had for dinner last night? Okay. Get up here and get some of this brighter color right here at the top for the pipings there. And then we'll do just a wee bit of ice yellow mixed in with some white. They're real good about customer service and replacing parts. I actually thought I was going to have to get with them myself the other day because I'd painted up Victoria, and she has this itty little bitty gun on her front, right here. This gun, it fell off as I was moving it from my desk to the other side. It fell off, and between here and there is about 4 foot of Berber carpet. Berber carpet just means that part is lost forever. And I was so worried. And I did end up finding it, so I didn't have to contact them. But I thought I was going to have to get them to ask them if I could get a replacement part for her. But luckily did not have to. It's a big one, like a full band of Guild Resurrectionists and Pandora set, totaling 34 inches. Which was cool. Okay. I dropped the feet from one of the young LaCroix and just never finished assembling him. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, now we're going to come in and just put some little spot highlights. These buttons, if we can get the paint to cooperate here. Paint and brush. Like I said, that fan dries things out before I even get to the model sometimes, but unfortunately it is very necessary today. This is not quite the same color. This has a little bit of the more of the ice yellow in it, but we're just going to come in and put some little spot highlights down here like this. I need to reinforce that, I think, a little bit. We'll do that in a second here. Hey, thanks for that follow, Clad 71 100. The one with this bum out. Oh no, that's the one with the most character. It was a shame you couldn't finish him. Could you maybe made him peg-legged or something? I'd have definitely wanted that character to stay on the table. Okay, well, there we go. That piping is done. And we're going to roll around to the back side here and do a little bit more. Not much, though. Just a wee little bit. Okay. And after that, I'm going to say piping is done-ish. Oh, I do need to get the shoulders. Whoops. I thought I was done. But I'm not. Okay. So we'll get a couple little spots up here on the shoulders. This was when M2E was young. When young weren't free, so I rarely took 3. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Hey, one of these days, I want to get on the infamous crew. That one that you did with the wrestling ring split up over the 4 bases or 3 bases. Yeah, it was 4. It was 4 because you did it over Roja and the other 2 or the other 3. That series of bases, I fell in love with. That was what got me interested in doing Infamous. I can't hide from you. Well, I'm glad I can't. That was kind of the point there, Stig. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, you should do that one night, man. Definitely. Or here, for sure. Definitely. Okay. So we got his piping done on the vest. And I can either move on to working on that little scarf around his neck, which we decided would be in purples, or we can move on to edging, or we can finish working up his pants. Which do you guys want to see? Any thoughts before we move on? I'll pick if no one else does. You'd like to. Weird was nice enough to send me an alt Lenny Jones, and think he'd look. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Do the scarf. Okay. Hey, Lotsky, appreciate that. All right. Well, I know it's. Uh-oh, we got a split vote here. One second. Let me take these off for just a sec, and I'm gonna. Sorry about that. Allergies again. Second scarf. Uh-oh, scarf is winning. All right. Oh, God, we got a tie. Hey, Tiger, how are you doing? Pants first. I guess I should do the pants since they are actually already started. Yeah, I guess I'm going to do that. I hate to disappoint my my scarf viewers, but yeah, I think we're going to do that. Going to join the pants party. Okay, good. All right, pants party it is. No, this one is a little plugged up here. Get our pokey tool out here and get it unplugged. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's a big old paint booger. Trousers. Yes, yes, trousers it is. Working on your wife's squigs. Ooh, nice. I love Orky stuff. Orky slash Gabo slash whatever stuff, but I don't get much opportunity to paint it because, well, I love weird stuff better. Although gremlins are kind of orky. They're like the orcs of Malifaux. The ones that are just so wackadoodle that even if you're losing, you're kind of having fun because they die in such hilarious ways. Squigs is pigs. That's true. That's true. I mean, even the name says it, right? Based him and the other wrestlers in 4 quarters of wrestling. That, yep. Yeah, that's the one. I remember that. Okay. So this is a mix of dark gray and London gray. Got her the Beast Snagga box for her army. I painted a. Well, you're pretty lucky then, because apparently that was one that was hard to come by. Painted a squig orange, and she wanted them. She wanted them her favorite football team. She's gonna have Denver Squigs. Oh wow. Yeah, like I said, that was that set, that core box, or those miniatures that you did, those facings that you did, were part of what got me wanting to do buy you in the first place. I did buy the mini corns and the sparkle steed from the Easter sales last year because I just love the sculpts. But I was like, yeah, I'm not going to play by you. I'm not going to play by you. I'm not going to play by you. And then I saw those pictures of yours, and I was like, holy crap, I'm playing by you. So I couldn't ever find Infamous in stock at my LGS or in the stores I use. So I ended up going with Trixie to start with. But I do want to end up getting the infamous keyword eventually. Be warned, iron skaters are the most challenging models you've ever painted so far. I imagine they would be. Not even from just an assembly standpoint, but yeah, because of how spindly they are, painting them has got to be difficult. Like, how do you hold on to this while you paint this other area because it's so large and spindly? Yeah, I can see this being a pain. No doubt. Getting too many project ideas. There you go. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Buy all the Malifaux. Now, I realize I'm kind of doing this one in a sketchy style. I'm trying to give the feel that these pants are shiny. Like, I don't know, like you've ever seen the suits that, gangsters wear in movies. They have that kind of sheen to the pants and the jacket. I'm not sure if it's like silk or what it is. But anyways, that's kind of what I'm trying to give is that kind of sheen on the fabric is what I'm trying to emulate here. So just kind of sketchy it rather than smooth blends. Oiled. No, not really. I mean, I'm still going for cloth, but I'm going for like that super shiny suit look that was very popular in the 80s. I'm not sure if it was polyester, if it was silk, what gave that look, but you saw a lot of gangsters that were portrayed in movies and stuff were wearing suits that looked like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. Even though it's kind of a satin sheen, right? But he's not a gangster, but that's kind of what I'm doing here. I want it to sort of semi-reflect the fact that he's non-metal, I guess. The base coat was dark gray and black, and then dark gray, and then dark gray and London gray, which is what we're working with now, and then London gray and neutral gray, and then neutral gray, and then neutral gray and water, or white. Oh yeah. Actually, I've still got some of your iridescent medium I could put on there if I wanted to. Hey, Lord Korok, how are you doing? Welcome in. Better late than never. How are you doing, sir? We had a bit of a start today. Good old hurricane weather came in, had a spun off a tornado that touched down nearby, took out power lines and trees and street lights and all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting start to the day. And I don't even know if we're done yet, because it seems like they were saying most of the severe weather was supposed to come in tomorrow. And it may have upped. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the news since or weather news since the day before. But that was when they were saying that most of this was going to come in was going to be Wednesday. And we got some pretty bad weather today, so I'm not sure if it's over with now or not. You got to sign off, Seabass. Okay, well, it was good seeing you. Glad you dropped in. Appreciate you hanging out. Hope to see you again soon. Oh, you leaving too, Dwarf? Oh, no. Have a good day. Thank you for hanging out. It's monsoon season here in the Southwest, so here you go. Yeah, monsoon and hurricane season. Fantastic. But yeah, you know, Northeast Georgia has never really experienced any severe repercussions of a hurricane because, one, we're in the mountains, right? So we kind of had this natural barrier first and foremost, right? Because of the ridge of the mountains. But we're also very far inland, right? So that typically protects us. And at least from hurricane type weather. And then what was it, 2016, 2000? No, it's 2018, I think it was. We had Irma come through, and Irma knocked the crap out of us. I mean, the wind was just, it was howling and it was nonstop. It was just this crazy shrill shriek, and the trees were groaning and wailing. It was the spookiest time I think I've ever had. Like, haunted houses were nothing on this. It was spooky as hell. We ended up, of course, losing power, trees coming down, and because our governor decided to send all of our Georgia powermen to help Florida out, we were without power for 14 days here. It was not fun. Hey, CJ Starry, how are you doing? You're staying with us though, right? You're just saying bye to everybody else leaving. But yeah, I've never been in a hurricane, never felt the side effects of one. I cannot imagine being in, like ground zero of a big one after what we got secondhand from Irma. Like, whole new level of respect. Like crazy. We've been lucky here in Missouri. No real bad tornado. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Usually they're in KC, of course. KC and St. Louis are very close to one another. They get it really bad. Where we are geologically dead. And like a few years ago, we had like over 200 earthquakes in a matter. Whoa, that's crazy. We have earthquakes here too. They are not very major earthquakes. They're like 2s and 3s and stuff like that. like usually just enough to kind of like set your pets off, right? But we have a fault line um, that runs underneath the nation's plutonium manufacturing facility, the Savannah River plant. So that's always good to know that we have a fault line there that basically runs right through that. Yeah, Z, that's the face. That's the one you want to make. I've been living in Michigan since April, and we've had tornado force winds and thunderstorms. What seemed like an obscene amount of times. Wow, that's not something you'd expect in Michigan. We've just had weird weather this year. I mean, like beyond supernaturally weird weather. Although we're along a very very ancient fault line. Yeah, makes sense. That's like I said. That's what worries me about ours because it's basically very weak and very rarely, does anything major. But what happens the one time it does do something major? It only takes one major quake, right? Nature is heckin' pissed. Yeah, it kind of seems that way. We have been unnaturally wet. That phrasing. Or are we doing phrasing? Yeah, we have had a lot more rain than normal for sure, especially here. Typically, when the garden goes in, the rain stops, right? And this year, it has literally rained every single day except for the last week. The last week has been relatively dry, which is probably, I guess, all the moisture was being pulled out to the coast to help fuel the storm, and now we're getting the rain dump from that. So, but we've had rain literally every single day uh, this summer except for this week, which is just bizarrely unusual. Literally, we're having tomatoes exploding on the vine because they had so much moisture. That's the one that's actually worried me more than anything is Yellowstone. Because I mean, like, it's the roads buckle and all that. It's definitely swelling, no doubt. Okay, um, so we're getting about where we want to be here. You think Kelly wanted to be on an island for a while? Yeah, it could be. I mean, if it could actually spit off, that'd be interesting. We have the island state of LA. That would be wild. Heard them say one here on Washington, Oregon coast is going to be worse than San Andreas. Oh, wow, really? Well, does it sit on? Does the San Andreas extend that far up, or could it be a plate similarly attached? That because that whole area is probably like one big. It's like one big mountain ridge, right? Oh, it's a different fault line. Okay. Need a beach or two and some oni. Are you talking about like demon oni? I think Tiger has some of those that I painted up. LA would be the modern Atlantis. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Pants are almost done. We're just going to do a couple of small little highlights, pen highlights here. This is neutral gray mixed with water. I mean, with white. Jeez, man. How am I enjoying painting the bellhop? He's fun. He's I like him. Like I said, he called to me. He spoke to me, and I had to paint him. That's one of those things. Every once in a while, a miniature will kind of like sing to me, and I need to paint it. The baggage and stuff on this guy is going to be nuts. So many bags. Probably need to get like creative with some of the colors. So if you guys want to start thinking about colors for the luggage, maybe post them in the weird Discord. What category would put it in? Let's see here. Where could we do something like that? Do we have a poll channel in here? Suggestions. Maybe a suggestions category. Put down colors we want to do. Ooh, I just noticed we're at 15 minutes. We're actually at 10 minutes. So we're getting close to the end here, guys, for today. Sorry about that, Kim. I was not paying attention. I was just into it, just painting away. Scary saying is it weird enough that might just be entering Malifaux at this point. Oh wow. Yeah, that would be a little weird. A little scary. Read the Southwest book. I'm located in a big nuclear crater. Oh wow. You have a lot of feelings about Maxine. I'm sure Maxine players would have a lot of feelings about that one. I have to admit, as much as I love Malifaux and I love the miniatures from Malifaux, I don't read a lot of the lore. But this Malifaux Burns one, I will be picking up. And I'll probably try and catch up on all the other ones too. It's just, I don't read a lot anymore. I mean, beyond technical things like, Blender manuals and stuff like that. So, because I've been teaching myself how to digitally create 3D objects in Blender. But yeah, I really do need to catch up on the Malifaux lore itself. For a while there, I had a viewer that was always in my channel that was a very big lore aficionado. So anytime a question came up about, who became what because of why, he was always there to answer that. It was nice having that kind of, that little bit of technical advice. Maxine read a book she wasn't supposed to. She knew the risk. Aha. Uh-huh. It really looked like a book. Absolutely a Maxine player. I see. I think it makes perfect sense for her. I recently reread her thing in MES faction book, and I was like, how did I miss this? Like, the Burning Man was a big thing for Maxine. Agree, just makes total sense. Feel bad for Orville. They were so wholesome. Are there Malifaux audiobooks? I don't think there's audiobooks, but there are podcasts where they speak about the lore and stuff, which is, what is it? The Breach Side broadcast, I think it is. If you look on Weird's website, you will find it underneath resources. Breach Side broadcast. Yes. Thank you, Korat. Hey, and there's a link, even better. Okay, guys, we are coming up on the end here. Got about 7 more minutes. We got most of, well, we got the pants done, essentially. I may come back in here and do a little glazing to smooth out some of the hash marks. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to see how I like it here in a little bit. But they're pretty much done. When we return next week, we'll do all the edging on the metal bits. I'll have to touch up that one little splatter as well. But yeah, we did the piping on his vest today, the buttons, and we finished up his pantalones. And yeah, so next week, I believe, is Tuesday. Let's see here. Got my little note card handy. Yes. Next Tuesday at 3:30, I'll be back. And we'll do the edge highlighting on his metal bits, right? And yeah. Thanks, guys. It's hard for me to read books. Gotcha. See, I have the problem with audio books. I can't do audiobooks. I get distracted and I just forget. I kind of lose focus on the book. So anyways, thank you. Appreciate that, Z. I'm having a lot of fun with this model. Thank you, Wolf. And CJ Starry, I do appreciate that. Can't wait to have them on the table. I know. I can't wait for you to get them. So anyways, I think we're right at the 5-minute warning. So excited to see him when he's finished. I love the Alpinist. Is that the goat one? Because I'm looking forward to painting that one as well. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one too. I don't think that's on my current list. It'd be when I get to it, for myself. And I will be painting another Bellhop Porter for me. But yeah. So, anyways, my name is Haunted. I stream on Twitch. I have 2 channels. One is where I paint miniatures and bases for said miniatures, or create bases for said miniatures. That is at twitch.tv/haunted_miniatures. The other one I have is a more generic hobby. Like I'll work with XPS foam to make terrain pieces and stuff like that. That one is twitch.tv/haunted hobbies, no underscore. And of course, you can find me on Facebook at Haunted Hobbies and on Instagram at haunted_miniatures. I know it's a little over the place, but it's those 2 names back and forth. So if you don't know one, just think of the other one. There's my Willow link. That has links to everything, including my online store where I do 3D printing as well. So yeah. But guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us here at Weird. Had fun painting the Bellhop, and we'll see here. Who do we have coming up? Do we have anybody tomorrow? Let me make sure we can get some hype for them if we do. Wednesday, we have Eleanor at 11:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, followed by Ben. Oh no! I'm sorry. That's last week's. Oops. I don't know what's coming up tomorrow. Maybe Eleanor. But anyways, I think that's about it from here. Since I don't know the current schedule. But yeah, just if you haven't already, drop us a follow here. Follows are free, and that way you can see when we go online. And guys, have a great night and play weird. Eleanor and Ben.